And once again, a huge thank you to all of our financial supporters, our 87.8 survivors. All of your names are there on the screen. We cannot thank you all enough. Each of you are legends. Just thank you so, so much. But a big shout out in particular to our two podcast bosses, Kenny Baker, 23 months now, mate. Just don't know what we're doing right, but you keep coming back. And Cinnamon, 16 months. You're an absolute legend, mate. In fact, all of you are legends who help the shows go on each and every week. Thank you all for your support, even just by watching or listening. And we hope you enjoy this week's show. And we are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And welcome to episode 155 of the DayZ Podcast. I've been up since 2 a.m. I thought I had everything done, and I've just realised I haven't updated the overlay. So I will do that in the background whilst I welcome my two usual co-hosts. We'll start with you first, Dave. How you doing, buddy?
I'm a little tired, as you usually expect from Dave, but I'm not doing too bad. How's everyone else?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. How did the event go?
It went swimmingly. I'm very glad to say. We were a little concerned about it with some of the backlash that Pride gets and whatnot, but it went flawlessly. There was absolutely no issues.
That's good to hear, mate. Good to hear. Everyone had fun?
Yes, yeah. It was, as it is with many events, it was a very interesting thing to be in admin mode and watch and see the way that some people played and the way they pushed, and entertaining for all involved and those watching, I should think.
Awesome. But Archie, mate, what's going on there, buddy? You actually look semi-human.
Yeah, that's not what he said before the stream started. He said I looked handsome and he'd fuck me.
I did. I did say that.
It's true.
Yeah, trimmed it up.
Yeah, you have to tell everyone why. When you said that, mate, that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, so my in-laws were in town, and I was smoking a cigar, and it got down to the stub, and I looked down at my phone and burned a hole straight through my beard. And then when I was trying to trim it, I just looked like Wolverine from X-Men, so I just went ahead and chopped the whole thing off.
That's awesome. But the man of the episode, the one, the only, Mr. MatttyIce, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. I've been a big fan for a long time, so it's a privilege to be here.
Well, it's a privilege to have you on, mate. You are the creator of the Bitterroot map, mate.
That's right. Yep.
Tell us about it. What was the inspiration for wanting to make? Because it's set in, I think, Montana, is it?
Yeah, that's right. So It's a DayZ map set in Montana, USA. It's got a little bit of, I would say, Farcry 5 and like the Last of Us kind of vibes brought to DayZ. But yeah, no, it's in production. I'm about maybe 50% of the way through developing the map, and lots more to go. So
that's awesome, mate. That's awesome, because there's not a lot of English speaking or more Western focused maps. Like, yes, I know Europe. Some of that is considered Western as well, but with the actual English speaking maps, it is nice for a lot of us who don't speak anything other than English to be able to look at a map and go, yeah, I can recognize that. I can recognize that. The Cyrillic alphabet is something else.
Yeah, you'll definitely be able to travel around the map and be able to read all the town names. No need to use a translator unless you don't speak English. But yeah.
So how long did it take you? How long did it take you to make, mate?
Well, so kind of a long story here, but I've been working on Bitterroot, the one that you see today, since October of 2022. So I guess we're going on 8 months now. But I'm sorry, hold on.
Sorry?
He said, hang on, probably the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Kids coming in. But
That's
yes,
right.
I've been working on it since October. But there was a version of the map that I had been working on before that for almost a year before. And that, thankfully, I had to restart it completely from start over from scratch, because that map would not have been as good. But I've been in the map making process for over a year now.
How did you start learning about that? Had you had any experience with it beforehand, or is this all completely new for you?
No, it's all completely new. So I'd always been a console player, and I picked up a computer maybe a year and a half or so ago, and got really interested in the idea of making a map. Really wanted to play Deer Isle because it was an American map, and beautiful map, absolutely incredible. The work that's on that map, it's obviously extremely good, and it's probably my favorite. But I've run around and I didn't feel like I was really in America, so I thought it would be great to make a map that actually felt like America. But I didn't know I didn't even know where to start. So I just kind of started Googling and YouTubing map making videos and kind of pieced things together and figured out that it's actually not quite as hard as I expected it to be to begin with. So started from there, made a little size like terrain, and then just kind of built it off from there.
How big is the map? What's the specs of it?
Yeah, so the map once it's completed, will be roughly the size of Livonia.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's 155 square kilometers, which is just a couple kilometers short of Livonia size. And right now, I think I've got, I would say probably 35 to 40% of it completed. And then the next expansion that I'll be doing and releasing in August will probably open up closer to a little over 50% of the map.
Archie, have you had a look at it yet?
Oh yeah, bro. I've been very vocal about it. I think it's the best community developed map to date. Everything about it to me is perfect. It's everything I wanted. Excuse me. The custom assets, the way everything's set up, the fact that the street signs fit the universe, you know what I mean? It's immersive. The fucking mountain lions are dope. Like nobody ever talks about that. Sorry if your kids can hear us, man.
No, you're good.
Yeah, everything about it, man. I'm just waiting for when, Hunter or Dino figure out horses and we get horses on it. That'll be sick. But I love it. I love it. I love Montana personally. It was my favorite state to travel through in all of my travels. And it was kind of like nostalgic for me, but it's insane. The attention to detail and the environment design, everything is perfect. It's so well balanced. If you want a PvP, you can run straight to the military bases and grab guns, or you can look for fights there. If you want to kind of stick to the towns and interact with people, you can. The spawns are perfect. I absolutely love it. Everybody knows I'm a fanboy of it. I've been shouting it out since the first time I played it.
The reason I asked that was he said, he doesn't get that American feel from other maps that are set there. What about for yourself though? Did you get that feel when you were in there? Have you been to Montana?
Oh, yeah. There's like Ponderosa style houses. You can climb under the porches and camp and wait on people to come up, or fuck with people that are in the house and they don't know where you are. It's little things like that. Like you go to a homestead that has a willow, I guess they're willow trees on both sides of the driveway, and then next to the house is a corral and a paddock and a barn and a stable. It feels real. Like it took a lot of attention to detail, and anybody who's worked in Terrain Builder knows how much of a pain in the ass it is. So my hat's off to you, Matty, because I think you've really outdone yourself, and you've definitely raised the bar for community developed maps, in my opinion. I'm going to say that 100 times
today.
That's
some high praise, Archie, for someone who this is his first shot at actually developing a map. I love the comment in chat there from Shogun. Even the trailer homes are authentic. So
it felt just like Nano's house, dude. I thought I was at Nano's. The only thing was missing was a meth lab, dude, and the dog house in the back.
Matty, I think you've got to fire it up, mate, and give us a bit of a look. Dave, while he fires up the map, because we spoke about this beforehand. Have you had a look at it yourself, Dave?
I've had a couple of runs on Bitterroot in the past. I think slightly earlier in development than it is now, because I don't get much time to play recently. But I have to say, for a British guy who mainly plays most vanilla maps, to be honest, and the odd few community maps, it felt completely different, like utterly different. It was one of those weird experiences where you loaded in and went, "Ooh, okay, this is still DayZ. Yes, this is DayZ, but this doesn't feel like I found it easier to plot my way around the map. I found, I found a lot of the scenery and a lot of the items and construction interesting, and for me, that's always key. Is if I can spend a little bit of time staring at something very random because it's incredibly interesting or incredibly unique. That's one of the things that stands out for me. I'm really interested to see what it's going to look like when it's completed, because that is a big old map. That is 155 squared. That's huge.
Yeah. I think
is it all landmass?
Yeah, no, it's all landmass. There's no there's no water on all sides. There's a lot of lakes. The reason I wanted to ask that is, it's a popular misconception a lot of people have that Livonia is so much smaller than Chernobyl. Really, it only is because of the water. That makes up the Chernobyl map. The actual land mass of Chernobyl compared to Livonia is actually quite comparable. So it's still a decent sized map for those that are interested in, is it going to be one of these little tiny pocket maps? Or no, it's not really. It's a decent sized map. Yeah, maybe it's not Banov size, but it's still an impressive size. So no, that's cool.
And the way the towns are set up, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you can't even tell how massive the map really is, because there's little towns and little hamlets and neighborhoods everywhere. So you're not very far removed from anything like you are on Livonia if you go south of the river. You know what I mean? So it's very balanced.
Well, I would just say I appreciate you guys saying all that. That's very kind, and I appreciate that. It's the size of Livonia, and you're exactly right, Woody. When I first picked the size, it was mostly because I couldn't really figure out in Terrain Builder how to appropriately size a map. And Sir Psychoberg in the Grandpa DayZ Grandpa Discord gave me his terrain size, and I was like, sure, screw it, let's run with that. He said it's about the size of Livonia, so we'll go with that. Thankfully, he did that, because I probably would have picked even bigger, which probably wouldn't have worked very well. But you're right. Livonia is actually the same size as Chernobyl is, and people think it's not. They think it's much bigger, but it's actually the same size in reality. So, yeah. Well, I have it running on offline mode if you're ready.
Yep, we're ready when you are, my friend.
Okay.
So, how did you go about finding out how to do it? What resources did you go to watch it?
So can you see it first off?
We can see.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So I YouTubed how to make a DayZ map. Just simple as that, and came up a YouTube video by the DayZ Grandpa. Okay,
that's what I was wondering if it was him. So yep, that's good to know.
Yeah. So the DayZ Grandpa. So he's got a whole lot of resources on how to make maps as he's making his own map, and he's helped a lot of people create maps. And in his Discord is many of the custom map community map makers that you would all know. They're all in there, and it's a great community, extremely helpful people. I wouldn't be anywhere near the map I am today if it wasn't for people like Zarge and Grandpa and many others that there'd be so many to name that went way out of their way to help me figure out how to do certain things. So it's a fantastic community. And so he had a YouTube video called how to make a map in 2 hours. And so I watched that and just followed it point for point, thing for thing. And within 3 or 4 hours, I had a map, I had a terrain. And then just going from there, it's a lot of dragging and placing and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And then it gets much more nuanced as you go on. But, especially once you get on the coding side and scripting and different things like that, that's a lot more challenging. It's definitely not my skill set. But if I can do it, anybody can do it. And but it all started with that video.
Do we have monster trucks?
Yeah. So I'll start...
sorry, I don't think you heard me then. Do we have monster trucks in there?
No, I don't have monster trucks in here yet. No. I do. So I'll say this. I have I counted it out today. I have over 30 custom assets that I bought with the help of my community. In my Discord, I have a commissions page where people can help me purchase assets that will go on the map, and they get credit for it. And so I go look on CG Trader and other websites and find assets that I think would be really beneficial to the map. I put it on there for a price that will cover the assets and the price that I pay a modder to have it imported, and so they commission an item for me. And so the vast majority of the assets that are custom and exclusive to Bitterroot are funded by my community. And so there's over 30 custom assets to date. I have another 19 in the queue to be done. And then over time there'll be more and more that we'll add into the map through commissions eventually.
Yeah, the custom assets really make you feel more immersed in the world too. That's what I was talking about when I say there's so much attention to detail. You see a U.S. ambulance or a school bus on its side or something like that. Sorry, it's storming really bad here, so if you lose me, that's why. But it's extremely immersive. I love it. If anyone hasn't played it, go play it. And also, I'm going to do a shameless plug for Matty. If you donate, you get custom. Correct me if I'm wrong. You get early access to playtest, right?
Yeah, there's certain levels. Subscribe basically, and you get like 48 hours or 72 hours of early access into all of the big play tests, and then I do an occasional in between each play test, like a weekend for the donors to run around a bit more peacefully. Because if you've played the play test, it's a PvP fest, and if you're not really into the PvP, then you might struggle to get out of pretty much usually it's this town or a couple of towns over there, the main spawn towns. You have a hard time getting out if you're not PvP skilled. And so these play tests allow people to run around a bit more freely and safely if they so like, please.
Yeah, I played it, got away from everybody, finally got a good snowball going, and then I got killed by a mountain lion that stealthed.
So the mountain lions are actually a funny story. So funny to me at least. But so I had to put in mountain lions. You got to put mountain lions in Montana. Same thing with the moose. The moose is cool too. But I put in the mountain lion. Oh, you haven't seen a moose yet? No, so you got to kill a moose. Yeah. You got to kill a moose. They're massive. They're big as shit. They're about 1.5 size of the row of the buck. So the biggest deer in DayZ, it's about 1.5 the size of it. It's huge. And when you kill it, it drops an antler. So I know you can't do anything with the antler right now, but it drops an antler, so you can run around and beat people with the antler if you wanted to.
You can do something with it. It's melee.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
People are still going to find that entertaining.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and so the mountain lion. So I had the mountain lion get brought in, and we're going into a play test, and it just wasn't. It was good. It was good physically. It just the sounds weren't great. I expected the mountain lion to make kind of an approaching sound similar to the wolf. And I was like, screw it. We'll just play the play test, and we'll bring in the mountain lions, and then we'll fix it later. And I found the best part about those mountain lions is that they are silent attack every single time.
Yeah, which is realistic.
And then when they attack you, it's like the volume is elevated. And so it's not only does it like you do some damage to you, but it scares the shit out of you every single time.
Yeah, it's like the old school DayZ jump scares I used to get 4,000 hours ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You hear that gunshot and your adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is attacking me?
So you said about Marchie. You said about the mountain lion killed you. So talk us through what happened there. Is there have you got AI for that set up, or was it just like a normal attack? You didn't see it, or how did that work?
Are you asking Matty or me? I'm sorry.
Both of you. So you go first with your experience, and then Matty can explain how he's got them set up so far.
Yeah, so I have my own little loot route where I run straight to Derby because there's always people there camping the well, and I'll kill them with some melee and take all their gear, and then I can go adventure and such. And the northern part of the map wasn't developed at the last play test, sorry. So I didn't really have a reason to go out there. So I just kind of went into the mountains and stuff where my chat had been telling me to go, and I was recording off stream at my at home at 2 a.m. while everybody was asleep, and I'm just in the woods lighting a fire trying to cook, and I get attacked. And then like he's saying, there's like super amplified bassy like roar while this mountain lion is ripping me to shreds. And I was so like scared, like what is the word? Shocked, I guess, that pulling out my gun, I'm spamming 2, but I'm actually hitting the W key. So I'm just getting destroyed by this mountain lion. And then after it all ended, I just sat there laughing for about 3 minutes about it. It was insane, man. I mean, there it is. Yeah, there you go. Yep. In real life, that's what they do. They sneak up on people from behind and attack them and go for the neck. So
yeah, I watched a video on one of them attacking. I think it was like because they're similar to the ones that they've got in South America or something. And some guy had a video of it, watching it, and it was just like you could not see the video I watched. You literally see it off in the distance, and then he's still got the camera in that area. But you don't know how the mountain lion got to as close as it did to the animal it attacked. It was just insane. They are. I still have nightmares of them from fucking Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
They
have these.
Yeah. So they're reskin wolves. Basically, is all they are. I want to make them. I haven't gotten around to doing it yet, but oh, that's not good. The cross is going. I gotta fix that. So the mountain lions are just reskin wolves, and eventually I want to get to the point where they are kind of like if wolves are a tier 1 predator, then I want mountain lion to be a tier 2 and your bear to be your tier 3.
You know who you need to talk to? You need to talk to Hunter Z. The shit that guy is doing with animals and stuff at the moment. Like I've got a video that I'm going to be showing you guys later that he sent me. He is doing custom animations. I don't quite understand how. He's got a video up that people can look at. If it was something that you wanted to look into, Matty, you can look into it yourself as well. But yeah, he might be the guy to talk to, mate, and see if you can come to some sort of arrangement to get them. I'm certain Archie would probably fucking lose his shit if it was actually, doing the stealth prowl stalk of a person and you could watch it. Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Matty Z is extremely talented, so networking with people like Hunter. Hunter Z is extremely talented, so networking with someone like him would be a great idea.
You know he's flipping that. You know he's flipping that.
Hey, man. Hey, that was a shameless plug, bro. You owe me. Anyway, Freudian slip. I definitely don't DM him. Network, man. Network. Let's do a segue now. Network, because this is a place, I mean, coming into the DayZ Podcast Discord where everybody's at, it's going to be easy to network for sure.
Yeah.
And
No, you're exactly right. And I've done a fair amount of that, or tried to at least. And thankfully the playtest and the map and the attention that's been getting lately has helped me meet a bunch of people throughout the community that do a variety of different things, and so that's been really great. Definitely, I'm in Hunter's Discord already, and I've seen that how to make an animal video or part of it. I haven't watched it in full yet, but I definitely intend to try my hand at bringing in an animal at some point myself as well. So the resources he does and the work that he does is phenomenal. They're so good,
mate. And honestly, I think he's the sort of guy who'd be happy to work with you as well. And if you were to do it and then go back to him and hit him up again, like Archie said, shameless plug for our Discord. If you jump in there, I know there's the modders Discord as well. I don't go in there because I'm not a modder. I don't want to embarrass myself and just look stupid any more than I already do. But yeah, those guys, him, Rag. I said to Hunter that I think him and Rag are my 2 favorite modders at the moment. Just the passion they have for what they do, and to see someone like yourself who is self-taught, learning all this stuff thanks to some of the great assets out there by Big Grandpa. We've got to look at getting him on again soon. See how he's doing. But yeah, this is absolutely amazing. How did you? What's been some of the things you need the most? Like when you were back in the city, I noticed you were using a lot of those. What are they? I think there's a name for it, like brutalistic architecture or something for that Soviet bloc sort of stuff. Is that something that has restricted you a bit? You wish you could do more, US style. Like I see you using the same fire station, the police buildings and things like that. I'm trying to remember what that name for that architecture style is. The missus has told me. No. That's just the name of a building, but there's an actual
that's the name.
The style of the architectural style that the Soviet used, brutalistic or something like that. I can't remember what it is. Someone in chat might know, but yeah.
No, you're exactly right. So ultimately, I would love to replace all of these high-rise apartments that you see here. I would like to get rid of them. I would definitely keep a few of the vanilla, high-rise apartments just because it's DayZ, and I just like to keep them in there. I don't want to completely change the game, right? So I'd keep a few of those in, but I would love to replace all these kind of Soviet bloc looking apartments, like you said.
What about the loot table? Like, one of the issues I think that would be for someone like yourself, like I know with the Japanese map, those guys are redoing all of the items down to food and all the rest of it. Have you done all of that with this as well, or is that stuff you need people to support you with, so you could get people to maybe change a tin of the peaches with the Russian writing on it to something more Western themed? Find yourself a good can of chili beans and Spam and stuff like that.
Right. No, good question. So actually just the other day, and it's on my to-do list soon, but just the other day, let me see. So just the other day, I learned how to texture for the first time. And so I just easily put together, a quick little Made in the USA t-shirt. I've got a Minnesota Vikings t-shirt. They're the most popular NFL team in Montana, apparently. And then, just another kind of like Stars and Stripes type of t-shirt. It's definitely on my agenda to do a lot of the custom textures for items and make them a bit more American. That's the long-term plan. It'll be pretty time-consuming, so I'd rather spend more time developing and building out the map before getting to the items. But ultimately, I would like to, put in Budweiser and put in, Sprites and, actual American products and American things you would see.
Yep.
My big goal is for every single building, that's got some Russian writing on it, to get rid of it. Get rid of it and replace it to where it's American. These little food stands, like, we don't have these in America at all. Like little food trucks would be, I think would be akin to that. So ultimately, I like to get rid of this stuff and bring in new things and do things like this, like a newspaper stand that, Talk actually has things that you would see in America. Even got Uncle Sam on there type stuff. I have a new police
like the vehicles, you're not going to see an Arda there. You're going to see more of a
Toyota 4Runner.
Yeah.
Sorry.
A big Ford Raptor.
Absolutely. So I think there's a lot of things that are definitely worth focusing the time on and replacing. In the buildings, I think are the priority for me, especially right now. These
I like the traffic lights there, and I saw the cop car back there as well.
Oh yeah.
So you already are starting to do some stuff that's a bit more Americanized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, there's a lot of American things in here. I mean, I think this is a NYP or NY Fire Department, New York fire station. But like, if it doesn't have Russian writing on it, for the most part, I'm pretty okay with keeping it in. But where's a police station? Do I have a police station here? Yeah. Like, I want to get rid of this police station and replace it with something different. And I have one in the queue that's coming. But the big thing, and I think the most challenging thing for me, are these high rises. There's assets out there that you can purchase and do, but they're just like, DayZ has a limit on what it can handle without doing a million proxies. And then at that point, you're just presenting new problems for performance and piecing it together. So for now, we're rolling with these kind of Soviet bloc-esque type of high rises. But ultimately, the end goal is to get rid of them all and have what you would actually see in America in terms of apartment buildings and homes, high rise and stuff. Like, here's another one. Like, I replaced the gas station. This is the newest edition that you'll see in the playtest. I got rid of all the gas stations, the old ones, and brought in some new ones. And they even have, English writing on the gas pumps and everything like that. So ultimately,
is it going to be a Walmart?
Russian. I'm sorry.
Is it going to be a Walmart?
A Walmart. So, I would love to get a shopping mall. That is what I would really like to have, is a shopping mall. But again, those kinds of really
Interchange.
big ass kind of assets are really hard to do. So an interchange, I made my own. I've made my own so far. Here was the very first one that I did.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the very first one that I did. I made this like very early days of Bitterroot. I've got
So you're
another
basically playing
one.
SimCity and DayZ.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. I feel like oftentimes I'm playing. I feel like oftentimes I'm playing like City Skylines, and but I just get to actually play on the map as well. So, here's my favorite interchange over here on this side. Where are we going? Down here. So this is the town of Ulray, another spawn town with a really badass football stadium. This is McGee Field. It was commissioned by.
That's pretty cool. That is a pretty cool asset. Like looking at that, I know what that is straight away. You got the goalpost, you got the field. That's awesome.
Yeah, this I love this stadium, and I grew up playing football, and so this is special to me. This area here, I love it. And you got a cool background of the mountain in the back. This just feels like a college or high school type of stadium. Speaking of, I would love to replace the high schools or the schools to be a bit more American as well. But yeah, so this is the town of Ulray, and this interchange is my favorite one. I think it's a little bit more janky than the other one is, but you got an overpass. I think it's pretty cool, and then you've also got this flooded out on and off ramp as well. Yeah. But this town I think is my favorite. This town is an absolute hellhole when you spawn here. If you spawn here, I would just get the fuck out of Dodge, honestly. I wouldn't even play around. But like here, you can see, like you see wildlife running around. You've got complete destruction and overgrowth. You've got a cool little gun store. And you've just got really pretty views of what is the pretty being destruction, right? I mean, there's beauty in destruction, and I've tried to do that in a variety of places. This town just got a lot of it.
I know that again, get ready with your podcast bingo, folks. I know that DayZ Down Under has a US school bus style mod. I don't know who they got it from. So I don't know what you would have to do, but I know there you go. Yeah. Buses basically like that you can actually drive. So yeah, I don't know whether that's something I can. Zyson's usually in chat. You could probably reach out to him and find out if there's a way that you could get access to it, or if it's a publicly available mod. Because they've got it, and I think there's even wrecks that you can find the parts for around the map as well. So yeah, they look awesome.
That's awesome. So that's another thing. That's another thing that I long term have to think about is custom vehicles. And for right now, I think my stance is that I don't have any intentions or plans to bring in custom vehicles that you can drive with the base default map. I'm a former server owner. I know server owners get super creative and go way out and make maps really cool with their own additions and their own rules and themes and different things like that. So I know that there's already a ton of really good mods out there that are far better than anything that I could make or maintain or anything like that. That I think server owners could easily bring in if they wanted to at some point. But my what I would like to avoid is eventually I'm going to finish the map, and I don't want to be having to be super hands-on with it every single time DayZ pushes an update and breaks it. So vehicles, I feel, are top of the list of things that are easily to be broken with every single update. So just for now, I don't have any intention to bring in any custom vehicles. As
there you go. Rag Tyson saying he has those school buses in his vehicle pack. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that might maybe have a chat with Rag about the best way to implement it, if it's a viable option for you. Because if they're the ones that DayZ Down Under are using, they're really good. They're really easy to use. They're fantastic. You got the airfield there.
Yeah, so this is the international airport. This is the international airport, so it's kind of akin to Balota, if you will, in terms of like loot levels and things like that, loot tiers and such. But as Archie was saying, this place here is an absolute just PvP deathmatch every single playtest. I mean, you got snipers on the hillside overlooking it, and then just down in here, you've got this ends up being a strong point literally every single time. There's somebody up there constantly holding the ATC, and then there's always a sniper up here, people running around trying to loot these cars. So it's just a PvP mess here. Every single playtest. This is a fun spot to be.
The only issue I found with that spot, bro, is when people get up on that car park there, they sit and they spawn camp that spawn point that's just behind where you're at, over by those houses behind you. Those houses right there, there's a spawn point. And they sit there and they camp that. Oops, sorry, I just bitch slapped my mic. But other than that, everything there was fucking perfect.
Yeah.
But on the note of those more American static objects you want, like wrecked cars and commercial planes for your airfield, talk to Killswitch. He's imported an awful lot in the last couple of months, all for free. He's very open to allowing map users to take them out and put them in the map without having a secondary mod to run from it. And he does do a lot of import on request. He does do it for free, so he's not the fastest guy in the world. But he's quite open to making new things that look a little differently. So like American assets and whatnot, that's right down his alley. I'm pretty sure he'd be more than happy to assist on that.
That's awesome. So I have I'll say I do this all by myself. I'm the only one placing items on the map, but I have one modder that I reliably use for everything. And that's Fishy. I don't know if you guys are aware of who Fishy is, but he has a Fishy Buildings mod. That's where all of these, let's see if I can find one real quickly. All of these custom residential homes are his, and that you can find this mod on the workshop already. And he doesn't allow repacking without his permission, so definitely seek him out if you're interested in putting it on your map. And then he has an Fishy's Industrial mod, Industrial Building 2, which has this one and a couple other nice shed warehouse type deals. Yeah, these things are really good. He does fantastic work, and he and I have been working. I've had him from the very beginning. Whenever I first imported the very first thing I had imported were these vehicles, and so we've been working together for this ever since I started Bitterroot, I guess. He does fantastic work, and I would highly recommend him too. He does commissions as well, although please don't send him too much because I need him for all of my stuff. I've got a lot for him to do, but I'm always recommending people go to Fishy because I think he does absolutely stellar work. They're phenomenal.
I'm quite I know Fishy's mods quite well. It's something I've used in quite a few of my previous projects. They are very, very well made.
Yeah, and all of his buildings, they come with the map group protos and everything, so they'll spawn loot for you as well, which I think is really important. A lot of times these custom buildings just don't have spawn points in them, and so they're just more cosmetic than anything else. But everything here from Fishy's mods, they all spawn, and then everything of my custom stuff, I've all added spawn points to them as well. So you can come in here and loot these trailers and find some stuff in here as well.
It's something that a lot of importers do when they're importing new buildings and whatnot, is not put that loot spawn in, and it is a pain in the side for a server owner to fix that. It's not an easy thing to do without knowing a good bit about modding. And a lot of server owners just don't. So as you say, they just end up being cosmetic, which spoils them because people stop looking at them. They'll run with teams, and one of the team will already been there and go, don't even bother looking inside, there's no loot. And they never actually get to experience it because of it. And it is a shame.
I have a question, Matt.
Yes, sir.
So I know you removed essential base building items in the last playtest so that people would have access to all the areas. Are you gonna leave base building essentials in on the next playtest? Because people keep asking me on my streams to ask you that.
Yeah. Good question. So I have two trains of thought here. I want to bring base building back in. The previous time I did it, I took them out just because there was a lot of people asking for them to go away. And I did find a lot of bases like at the top of apartments and things like that. And it got a little annoying. But I definitely want to allow base building in the next playtest. So they'll be back. I don't know whether I'm going to I know I'm going to ultimately do 2 servers for the next playtest, same as I did last time. And I might just start off with both of them up at the beginning and make one that has base building and one that doesn't. I might do that, or I might just put them all together and just say screw it to the people complaining about base building. I haven't decided yet.
Question with regards to the loot economy. Now, being America, a couple of things. Obviously there's a gun in almost every house, but also you guys, from what I understand, have an embargo on Russian firearms. They're actually not that easy. Like the SVD is a very uncommon rifle to find in America. Very few people have them. One, because of the cost, and two, because they're actually, I don't think you're allowed to import them anymore. So you can only get like cheap copies in that. So how have you got that set up? Is it going to be more focused on Western weapons in the map, or have you just decided just to ignore that and just allow all the AK variants and stuff like that?
Good question. No, so realism is absolutely important to me here. I want everything to feel as realistic as I can make it within the game. So that leads me to a couple of things here. So yes, in America here we do have a lot of guns. Obviously, yeah, we do. I don't want to make every. Hold on one second. Sorry.
I have a gun in my pocket right now.
That's what my missus says to me when I go to bed as well.
Hey, give me 60 seconds. I'll be right back.
No worries. I did notice, Bodie, that a lot of the weapons that I found were American style, like your lever action repeater and stuff like that. There's a lot of shotguns.
Nice.
I think I had a shotgun. There was a shotgun or shotgun shells in every other house. So everyone either has a repeater, a shotgun, or some kind of pistol. Like 1911s were everywhere. M-locks were everywhere. They're not hard to find. I don't think I found any Eastern European or Russian style weapons as far as I can remember.
Yep.
There are a lot of American style weapons out there, and a lot of usable skins as well. You could basically reskin a current weapon to look more American and behave in the same way. You could even change the bullet type name and the image. So as far as the player is concerned, it's an American weapon with American ammunition. It's still, it's still a variant of the AK, or it's still a variant of the SVD.
And there's AKs all over America. I know the AR-15 is like the meme, but the AK platform guys are just as big. Like I have 3, so I mean they're everywhere. So it would still make sense.
Herrera. He's the AK guy. He's doing a project at the moment to make it a 50 cal AK. So they're not uncommon, but they're just a
lot of SKSs over here too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I caught what you were saying there. Yeah, there are definitely still AKs here in America. But a couple things here. So one, I don't really intend to make it where every house is spawning, the high tier loot and high tier guns. I don't really want to make this into a PvP deathmatch map in general. I definitely intend to bring in a few custom weapons that are more American specific that you would actually find in an American household, maybe probably some like old World War II type American weapons that people hold in their civilian homes. Different things. I'm not a gun guy. Honestly, I don't have guns, and I don't really know, but I have friends that do and that are gun experts. So I'll certainly be bringing in a few custom weapons with their help. That would make sense to spawn in homes. But ultimately, I kind of want to. So the big crux of the map is it's in Montana, and there is a cult. There is a cult here. So there's an underlying lore, a cult called the Children of Man, and they were just a religious cult pre-apocalypse. Like an apocalyptic type of cult, and they have a presence throughout the map. This cross here that you see is the cult's cross. It's the cultic cross. And so you'll see it in a variety of different places across the map, mostly in their cultish locations. But even in this case here, like right at the center of town, you'll be able to see it too. So what I plan on doing is making the American military installations spawn primarily American weapons. I currently plan to do 5 tiers. So I'll pull up the map here so you can see an overlay, but 5 tiers. Obviously it'll flow just like Chernar's from southeast to northwest, and 5 tiers. So you'll have 1 and 2 be your low tier loot in general. Tier 3, I intend to make cult specific.
Is it
weapons.
Just me, or do you guys see a face in that mountain there?
Yeah, here.
Yeah, like squinting and looking down to the left.
Boydie's been talking about Montana for an hour, and he's already acting like a tweaker. I see a face in that rock. Look at that
Face.
rock.
That's funny. But so tier 3, I intend to be like mostly cultish weapons, which I think will make them mostly be the Russian style weapons. There'll be a big cult compound here. This will all be a cult compound. Like you can kind of see the roads now. So the roads are all in place for the next expansion, but there's nothing here. So you can drive to this place and you'll see just the roads. So if you're seeing this now and you play in the playtest, you can feel free to drive all of these roads if you wanted to, but you'll see literally nothing. But this will be the big cult compound. I would equate this to like a VMC, if you will. And here you will be able to find a lot of the Russian style weapons, is the current plan. Tier 4 will be kind of like a tier 3 for Chernarus, if you will, M4s, such like that. And then tier 5 would be your Chernarus version of tier 4. And you'll find that in what will ultimately come here, which will be a big NORAD facility with nuclear missile silos.
I wanted to know if you were going to have that and any tunnels and stuff like that. If you do have any, don't show us. I think people like to find that stuff themselves. But are you going to add some mythological lore, such as the Bigfoot?
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you if I'm bringing Bigfoot in or not.
Yep.
If I end up doing it, I hope you stumble upon him. And if you live to tell the tale, then dude, please do.
I think that would be fucking awesome. It should be a tank that can eat up the fucking rounds. And like I think I said it last week, I just been playing Banov and went into one of the bunkers there, and yeah, it didn't scare me, but I definitely went in underprepared. So that would be cool. And I know there's more than just Bigfoot lore in that. You've got the mountain lions. You could do wolves as well, which is classic DayZ, the bears. Does Montana have black and brown bears, or just one or the other?
So they do. They have black bears as well. And I'll bring black bears in too, for sure. That's just
I just heard something that black bears are responsible for the most bear attacks, which kind of surprised me. I was like, I didn't expect to hear that, which was quite interesting to hear.
It's because they go into where people live more than brown bears and grizzlies do. Yeah. The black bears are just like big dogs. Like where I grew up in Tennessee in the mountains, they would you'd be getting the groceries out of your car and they would smell them and come right up to you like a dog. So
they're generally smaller too, right?
Yeah, a lot smaller.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I think what I plan to do is make your big grizzlies, your brown bears spawn off in the remote areas in the forest and stuff like that, and then I'll make the black bears be a little bit smaller and maybe spawn a little closer to towns too. Think of them kind of like what the boar would be in vanilla DayZ, but they actually will attack you, so they'll be on the outskirts of the towns and stuff like that. This is here. This was the very first military location that I put down. So right here, this is Juneau Barracks.
A lot of kills there.
Yeah, this ends up being a fun PvP spot as well. And then it's got some little hills on the side here where you can have some sniping into it as well. But again, this is another good spot. I think so. So what I'll say is, philosophy like level wise, what I've been trying to do is, I think Chernarus is the most perfect map of any map in any game ever created. I think there's a reason why still almost 15 years later, we all still go back to Chernarus. Eventually we'll go play the custom maps and we'll play all this cool stuff, but then we will always go back to Chernarus. And I think it's because it has so much replayability, because it's smartly designed loot flow and loot patterns and routes. Simply spawning in the southeast, making your way to the northwest to Tizzy, and then now, thanks to the toxic zones, you make your way back toward the spawn points where you will inevitably run it back into people. I think the in-game quests that a lot of the new maps are coming out with are really cool, and I wouldn't know the first thing about how to script all that stuff. But I think that it creates maybe, I don't want to say less replayability, but once you complete that some people might, be turned off by it. I don't have any intention of doing any kind of in-game quests here. I'm going to very similarly copy Chernarus, flowing to the northwest, and then come back, down to these areas with things that will eventually come in the future. whether they're power plants or bunkers or things like that, toxic zones. I'm not sure yet, but I'll have something that will do basically the exact same thing that you would see in Trinars.
I love it. I'm really impressed, mate. You've done an amazing job. You should be quite proud of what you've managed to achieve. And what's your ETA for when you reckon it'll be up as a playable map? Because I saw Eyes of Ive doesn't even have a map uploaded there yet.
No, yeah, I haven't done any of that stuff because it's just not anywhere close to being ready.
Yep.
So I think internally, my goal is to have it done and released. Maybe not completely finished, 100%, but definitely released to a point where it can be played in the community. I'm hoping spring 2024 is the plan. I think what I'm doing is expansions every 3 to 4 months with playtest in between, just to kind of keep people allowing to play it and see it and explore it. But I think ultimately release to the community in June or spring of 2024 is the goal.
Attrition's asking in chat, any references to the Flathead Lake Monster of Montana? Basically, Montana's Loch Ness Monster.
People really want cryptids in the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. I've heard of the Flathead Monster, but no, I don't have anything in there to date. But if you go swimming in the water, maybe you'll get. Maybe you will. I'm not sure.
Do you have any other Easter eggs in there so far? Like, references to things like Zombieland or George Romero or anything else? America has quite a strong zombie lore history. Yeah. So good question. So here's a town, for example. This is Fairfax, and this is kind of pulled from The Walking Dead. Yep.
With the town of Alexandria. So it's very similar with the perimeter. This is obviously a town that after the apocalypse, these people banded together and create a wall to protect themselves. But eventually they got overrun, whether it's by bandits or zombies or something like that. Who knows? But this is one example of that. But ultimately, for the most part, Boydie, every one of these towns, their design is inspired by an actual in real life town. Some that actually mean something to me, whether they're, there'll be a town over here called Milton, which is the town that I grew up in. Ouray is an actual town in Colorado that inspired this location. Town
that sprung to mind when I was playing. I was like, Ouray is not in Montana, but I assumed you just had, some inspiration like the actual Chernarus map in Livonia did.
Yep, that's right. So Coleman is this downtown in this little industrial area is inspired by my wife's hometown in Minnesota. Winter Park is a town. Winter Park is just a random name. But Troy's where my sister went to school. There's a bunch of different things here that all are inspired. The town names or their design is kind of inspired by different things that mean something to me. Lakeland is a big town here in Florida. March Air Force Base up here is where I was born in California. And it's actually kind of somewhat designed like this. So a lot of my stuff Beartown is after one of my favorite books. A lot of this stuff is inspired by actual places that mean something to me or towns that I thought looked pretty cool. And I kind of stole the design and layout of the town. Which, because like I said earlier, I want it to be as realistic as possible. And Americans, we have a lot of grid-styled cities and villages and towns and things like that. So, I kind of take my inspiration from Google Maps in many ways for these towns.
Yeah, that's a misconception a lot of people have is American and Canadian towns and cities are built for drivers, and in Europe and Asia, it's built for foot traffic.
Yeah,
so everything's wider and bigger here and more spread out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same with Australia.
Very, very gridded. The grid style layout for towns is very American, which actually makes it a lot easier for me building towns. I just got to make a bunch of squares, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we don't do that around here. We do zigzags around everything, stupid.
Yeah.
Just, draw the road on a piece of paper with a marker and just go, that'll do. There you go.
Right.
We're starting to get a lot of roundabouts here, though. I've noticed, even in Florida, they're taking red lights out and putting roundabouts in.
They are.
No, don't do that. It'll end up like England with a roundabout after every other corner. Around one corner. Oh, the double mini roundabout, the most confusing thing in the world.
I forgot Matty's in Florida too. That reminds me.
Yep. I'm here in Florida. So this is the town of Lakeland. This is, there's two large cities currently. One being Tyler, one of the spawn towns, and then Lakeland here is another big town or big city. I'm sorry. And then down here will be another city, a big city. They won't have any high rises, but it will be a bit more of. I'm kind of viewing this as a little bit more of like a historical old town. Like it maybe have like a. Archie, you'll see this, but have like a Bourbon Street type of vibe through these roads here.
Oh yeah, like gas lamp French. Yeah, I see what you mean. You know,
Yeah.
Missoula has that, dude, by the river. If you've been to Missoula, all the brownstone brick buildings, and then the river that runs right through the middle of town. It's very turn of the century, early 1900s architecture, and that feels very Montana. I would check out some Google Earth images of Missoula. Not around the university because it's all been gentrified, but the rest of it.
I have to jump in here because Skullspeeder once again asking the important questions. Is there a Springfield?
The weapon?
No.
He's asking about the town because it's like a meme for foreigners that there's Springfields in every state.
Yeah.
That's funny. I see now. There is not a Springfield to date. But it's funny you say that because it is on my list of names to come. That is so funny.
It's funny. Attrition said, "Oh, so that's the Easter egg. Each town is a security question answer for a credit card." That's pretty.
Yeah.
If you do a Springfield, you have to put a Quickie Mart in.
Yeah.
I'm racing in the Quickie Mart.
The Homer Hotel.
So going back to your question about inspired by American cult and zombie type fiction. So this town will be called Ruby Ridge. This will come in an expansion later.
Wow.
And if you know American history,
Ruby Ridge.
Yeah, Ruby Ridge. So Ruby Ridge will be here. I'll have a Ruby Ridge cabin here that will be designed similar to the actual Ruby Ridge.
Okay, I'm going to ask then. If you, I was wondering, I didn't want to bring it up because there was all that kerfuffle with the other map, which had the iconography that some people found offensive. And Ruby Ridge, I know there'll be some people who will crack up that you've got that in there because they'll think that you're dog whistling or whatever. But is your cult kind of then a bit based on Branch Davidian?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Branch Davidians is the main inspiration for the Children of Man. Yeah.
Yep.
And I have some buildings that are very similar to the style that you see in Waco. And I mean, look, I have no intentions to offend people. That seems like an easy thing to do these days. But
offense is taken, rarely given.
David, I know. Nothing wrong.
So, like, the thing is, the cults are a real thing here in America, and throughout the world. And there's a rich history of it that's very interesting to me. What cults are, it's very interesting to me.
Twitter, dude.
So it's I'm basically just kind of inspired by a lot of the history of cults in America, and we're going to put them here. If you know anything about cult history, you'll kind of see different locations that you might remember, cult history and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm not doing anything that when you're in there that clearly and abundantly says, this was a cult location, that this is inspired by this cult thing. You can figure it out if you want to.
Can we shoot ATF zombies?
Nah, I love it, mate. I love it. Anything else you want to showcase to us?
Yes, yeah. So real quick here. So I have a NASCAR track.
Hey.
NASCAR track here, which is a lot of fun to drive around. I made it as minimal as possible so you can go fast, and it's all very smooth. You can do the whole thing. You can have your race car events here. It's a lot of fun to drive.
Well, no,
check that out.
I have to kind of to step into that. What is the performance like on that racetrack? Because we previously tried to do race events in DayZ, and it's not an easy thing to do. And we ended up switching off the majority of the servers, the map's graphics. To be fair, we started putting in mods that took away trees and grass and all sorts of garbage just to get it to run.
Yeah. So performance is important, obviously. to a point though, like DayZ just kind of sucks, and so it's always going to run pretty poorly no matter what to a degree. So so I'm keeping that in mind, but I'm also not keeping it in mind. Here though, I intentionally kept it away from everything as much as possible, and I don't intend to put anything else very close to it. I kept this all in here pretty minimal as well, so that way you could, really enjoy it to the fullest. And from what I could tell in the play tests, from seeing different streamers play it and then myself driving around on it, even it's been, completely packed full of population. People have drove on it smoothly, hitting up to 120 on the backstretch and everything like that. So to my knowledge, performance is fine on there. And it's, I've seen most servers that I've seen, or most maps I've seen, do like a Formula One track with all the twisting and turns and everything. But, here in America, NASCAR is king. So I wanted to do a Talladega inspired track there.
I think keeping it away from a lot of the other populated areas and a lot of the built-up stuff was a very good idea there.
That's the plan.
That's what causes most of the problems when it comes to vehicles. So well done on that.
Thank you. So the last thing I would say to show you in the map here, this is March Air Force Base. This is like akin to your Northeast Airfield, and you'll certainly be able to come loot this. I think this will be tier 4. Or, tier 3, if you're thinking in reference to Chernarus here in the final map phase.
Survivor number 2 has got a good point in there, and I think it is worth addressing. Just listening to this, it doesn't even sound like DayZ. Sounds more like a Far Cry game, just my opinion. Map looks good, but for me personally, it doesn't say DayZ. I see your point, but DayZ's kind of evolved now that unless it's set in Soviet Eastern Bloc style countries, you start to lose that feel. We've got jungle maps coming. I know there's another American map being worked on. We've got a Japanese map coming. So I think once you get on the ground, you're going to still have that DayZ feel. Archie, what's it been like for you when you play it?
I completely disagree. It feels kind of like a Days Gone sort of vibe, but just because it's in America and it's a grid down scenario, they're still infected. I don't know in particular what he means about it doesn't feel like DayZ. Every map has lore behind it, even the official maps with Hannah and all that. So I mean, it makes the world feel lived in. It doesn't feel like you showed up the day after the apocalypse happened and nothing makes sense, because a lot of the stuff, even in Chernarus, when DOJ and I were trying to do our thereafter mod back in the day, it didn't make sense. Like when there's a huge apocalyptic scenario, there's traffic jams everywhere in and out of gas stations and stuff. There was none of that on Chernarus, so it didn't really feel like, to me, it just felt like the rapture happened and only zombies were left. But I don't know, man, I'm not throwing any shade towards the commenter, but to me, it felt extremely DayZ to me.
No, that's just their opinion, and I see where they're coming from. Myself, because it's going to have like you can even see in the background there, that looks like a motorhome. So it's going to feel quite different. Yeah, there is a couple of motorhomes there. It's going to feel quite different. But well, I mean, you've got the blue little cab, or what do you call it? The market store there, which usually has a bit of hunting gear and stuff like that. So it's just an Americanized version of DayZ, and I'm all for that. Variety helps keep the game interesting.
Yeah, it's got a miscreated vibe to it, but without the weird creatures and but it's America, it's kind of hard to get away from that. I mean, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I mean, you can add clothing items to infected, so you can just put cowboy hats that spawn on zombies, and then there you go.
Yeah, you can. I mean, look, I love DayZ, right? I love true vanilla Chernarus DayZ. I absolutely love it. So the last thing I want to do, and I'm not a video game developer. I don't have any intentions for anything like that. I'm not trying to create a different game. I'm just trying to create a version of DayZ. And if you think DayZ is strictly limited to what is basically the old Soviet bloc states, then this isn't going to be for you. But if you're interested in a new environment that feels different than what you're used to with DayZ, environment wise, then this map will hopefully you'll think it does it.
And it's go ahead.
I suppose the thing you've got to think about is the story behind DayZ. Yes, the vanilla DayZ is based in I suppose it's not Russian, but that area of the world. The same thing will have been happening in other areas of the world as well.
Yeah.
And maps like this are going to give you a feel of what it was like when it was happening in America. You know, and it's something that modders are bringing to the game, which I think is a fantastic thing because, you know, if you are from the area of the world that DayZ is based in, it's going to feel very familiar. If you're not, it's going to feel like it's got a completely different vibe. And you're going to get focused on that is what the vibe of DayZ is. That's not what the vibe of DayZ is. DayZ has its own vibe. That is just the vibe in that area. This is what DayZ would be like in America.
Chat's right. It does need a Dollar General. It needs 15 Dollar Generals and 12 Waffle Houses, okay?
I know, right? It's funny you say I ate Waffle House this morning. That's hilarious.
Man, Florida, baby. that sweet tea is unmatched. Anyway. At Waffle House, we shoot back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and here in Florida, you know, we get hit with a lot of hurricanes, and the saying is if a hurricane's coming, like, you know, you don't have to worry about it too much. But if Waffle House closes, get the fuck out of town. Like, get out, go.
If they got the plywood on the windows, you're doomed.
You are doomed. Yeah. So the other thing too is like the mountains. The mountains seem to be things that people really enjoy. You know, this is all sat map mountains. I would never be able to create that myself. So there's two big mountains in the map. This one here in the northeast, it's a big ass thing. It looks really pretty, really high peaks, and then the other one is down here in the southeast. It's a little bit smaller, but also I think equally beautiful. I have no intentions of touching these mountains. I might put some stuff up there occasionally, but I'm going to leave the mountains to be as beautiful as they are and let them stay there because I just think they're fucking beautiful. I don't intend to touch them.
I don't think you need to touch them either. And let's be realistic, in the scenario that your map plays on, not many people are going to be able to go up there towards the end, to be fair. It's a desolate place to be.
For sure. I mean, you'll definitely be able to walk up there and traverse it if you wanted to. And I mean, I'm sure somebody will put a base up there too, but yeah, there just won't be much up there to really attract you to it.
What's the climate like? Default setting.
So the climate, it's this is spring, late spring, early summer. It'll be nice and warm. You won't have to worry about any cold stuff here. You'll be able to run around in shorts and t-shirt the true American way, flip-flops and shoot people.
Hell yeah, with extended magazines.
Yeah.
Just a little comment on something in the comments on the YouTube about climbing the mountain, dropping the temperature. That is something that server hosts themselves can do already. There are mods out there that are capable of doing that. You can
absolutely.
zone the temperature.
It honestly, it kind of does it anyways by default. Like elevation is true here. And so the higher you go up in the mountains, it does get colder. So it'll definitely be cooler the higher you are than it is down on the ground level. But even up there, I think you can just feel a bit more like Chernarus. Like, it's not super killer cold or anything. It's not Namalsk level. There'll be no snow on this. I've had quite a few people reach out about making a winter version of this at some point, which, you know, I don't know. I don't have any intentions of making a winter version of it personally, but I'm sure somebody at some point will once it's released, and will do a great job of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody makes a winter version. It's not an incredibly difficult thing to do. It's very, very time consuming, replacing all the textures and such and setting it up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody will do it in the future.
Oh, they'll do it. Yeah. Frost Bitterroot. It'll be every map has a mod. You know, I would.
Right.
I love it. Yeah. I will say, guys, like, all this stuff is very, very, very expensive to all the viewers. All of this, he's paying out of pocket and he's paying with donations. You can easily spend thousands of dollars, and that's not an exaggeration. So if you guys can want to support the development process for MatttyIce, go over and join his Discord if we can get a link in the chat and support him any way you can.
What I want to just quickly show is I dropped a modder, one of the mottos of our channel, and he's got some really great options there for you folks. I've got them up on the screen here. This is in the donations tab in his Discord of ways you can support. You can do a monthly subscription, you can do one-time donations, and there's different tiers of what you can subscribe at. You know, the Yellowstone subscriber, the Glacier National subscriber, Flathead Lake subscriber, Legend of the Bitterroot, Immortal Climber, Special Commissionaire, Mountaineer Booster, So all very clearly spelled out there for those who want to do it. And if you've got something specific in mind, if you were thinking maybe you'd like to get something commissioned for him, I'm certain if you reach out to him, he'd be happy to have a chat with you. I know it does say on there about there's going to be a monument somewhere where supporters are going to get, basically commemorated there for it. So if you were, I know people have done it in the past. If you wanted to, if you've got someone who can make something really cool for the map and you want to organise that yourself, get in contact with Matty. I'm certain he'll be able to work something out with you. Be more than happy to any assistance he can get, because like Archie said, and like we've discussed time and time again, it's a passion project, but it can be a fucking expensive one when you're into this sort of stuff. Custom assets, if you want good ones, do not come cheap. Yes, you can buy the packs and stuff online, but as we've seen with some maps, some of the stuff people use, it doesn't really fit the aesthetics of it. So to get something made properly,
Yeah, and to try and neglect and avoid those costs and to do it for free increases your timescale so drastically.
And your workload too, man.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you pointing that out. You're exactly right. So well over $1,000 has already gone into this, well over, probably close to $2,000 worth of purchases and paying modders to do things for me, and things that I just don't know how to do yet, or things that I just don't really have the time to learn. Like I said, if I were to learn how to import a building, then that takes maybe a couple of weeks away from building out the map. So I'm happy I find good modders and good people in the community that do really great work with what they do, and I try to support them with the funds that the community is supporting me with as well. And again, like I said at the very beginning, if it wasn't for the community investing in these commissions and what I really view as an investment in the map, as if it's a business, I really view them investing in the map and what's to come. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have any of the assets, really. I'd have maybe a few of them, but
everything is streamlined when you can outsource it. So it's always nice to have the funds to pay someone else to import something while you set up fences for 6 hours. Just like a funk playlist on YouTube.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, look, I have a queue of 19 other buildings that are coming in, and Fishy's working on them as he can. He pumps them out pretty quickly, but that's a lot of buildings and a lot of things. So I would be working on that all day long for several weeks or months, and the map wouldn't get any development. So it's nice to be able to outsource that stuff and help people who do really great work.
Less talking, more developing. Love that comment. Mate, that is fucking amazing. I'm really excited, and definitely keep us updated. I love it when if you've got something that we obviously can't get you on every week because we're trying to get as many people on so we can show people just how amazing the community behind this game we all love is. But if you've got something you want us to showcase, make sure you send it to either Archie or myself, and we'll make sure we update people as you release new updates and stuff like that, mate, because that's what we're all about here, is just promoting this amazing game and the amazing people who are behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to. And I would just say, if you're not in the Discord already, be sure to join the Discord. I periodically release sneak peeks of things that are to come, and everything, all the most up-to-date information that you can find or want to find on the map is all listed in there for you. And
there's all these links, and we'll have that in the description of the video down below as well for everyone as well. Okay. We're going to move on now. Did you guys, anyone watch BabyNade's DayZ 2 theory video?
Yeah, I did. I checked it out.
Ooh, I have not yet.
I did. Matty, did you see it?
No, I have not seen it, no.
So BabyNade is a bit of a goat in the DayZ community. He's been a bit quiet of late, but he's back into it again. But what do you think of his theories in there, Archie?
I agree with pretty much all of them. I mean, I kind of was blown away by how little money DayZ has made in comparison to Rust and Ark. Like Ark made so much money, man.
I want to caveat that because when I was listening to it, unless I missed something, he pretty much was only going off of PC sales. But there's also the Game Pass revenue, which they would be getting as well.
That was just one thing that stood out to me for sure. I was like, damn. But still, even still, the case he made for it being, a moneymaker. And I'm always saying give the devs a clean slate, man, because like I always say, anyone who's taken a peek at the DayZ spaghetti code, you couldn't pay me enough to work on that. But I think with a clean slate and he's right though. I mean, the stuff we've said on the podcast before, even when other modders were on in the past, a lot of the issues are because you got two engines basically running in one game. And so, when you hit a zombie and it flies up in the air, or a cow clips a fence and the nav mesh doesn't work, so it goes into orbit. A lot of that stuff is just because new engines are running on old engines, things are running on the new engine in the old engine, sorry. And a lot of those issues would be, smoothed over if they just had a clean fucking slate, man. Like you look at Reforger and watch it or play it, the potential there. On the Infusion engine, it's almost, to me, it's like overwhelming, thinking about all the things they could do with it. I mean, the glass in the windows respawns every server reset, little things like that just give me hardwood. So I loved it. Go check the video out if you haven't seen it. I hope he's right. I hope they do. I hope they are secretly working on it. And we don't get any leaks, so they don't have to postpone it, because we are talking about delays.
Look, and that's one thing I'll say about them. They're pretty good at keeping shit secret until they're prepared to let people know about it. I'm just going to put the link to the video in chat for you all now. If anyone wants to, if you head off and watch it, that's fine. But you can bookmark it for later or whatever. But Baby Nate's is a great creator. But yeah, it was quite interesting. A lot of theories in there. I know some people in the Discord, the 87.8 Discord, were saying that some of his tech stuff wasn't quite correct. I can't comment on that because I'm a spastic myself. But yeah, it was a pretty good video. And I like the fact that he said, he basically shot down the people who say they don't care. He pointed out, Sumrax made his own fucking map. Redone the map that he made before for the game. So most of that stuff is bullshit when they say they don't care. But it does, the money thing. I've said it time and time again. Do they not like money? Of course they like money. So there's got to be some 200, 300 IQ play going on here, Dave, that they're doing to, with what the future of DayZ is going to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, I would not, English, David. I wouldn't expect them to be sitting on their hands.
Dipping in his own supply, guys.
Yeah, I must have been on that. Bloody hell. No, I wouldn't expect them to be sitting on their hands. Seriously, I mean, come on. And at the end of the day, they've been doing this for a decade. Yep. They are not fresh to this. They know the dangers of leaking things. They know the dangers of giving a snippet of information that could possibly start a snowball, that could destroy a lot of what they were doing. And they know the risk of theft as well. You tell people that you're doing something a long time before you've actually finished it, and there's always the possibility that somebody's going to come and do it before you. And then you look like the one that's copying something or copying an idea, and they really don't want that, because DayZ is their baby. It is the one they really, really care about, even though sometimes it looks like they don't. They really, really do.
I mean, honestly, I think that from my experience, and it could be different for everyone else, when I recommend DayZ to people, they always bring up two things: the graphics are antiquated and the bugs. You know what I mean? And they're right. A lot of the graphics a lot of the textures and everything, it's Arma 2 buildings and stuff like that. So when you download that on console, on the new Xbox or the PS5 and play it, it doesn't feel like you're playing a new age game, compared to everything else that they have, Cyberpunk, Grand Theft Auto and such. But I think a new DayZ with a clean slate, I know everyone would be excited about that. I think it's the right way to go. So, and it would deter a lot of those people that are, on the fence about it, because aesthetics are a big thing, man. I know we can roll our eyes at that and say whatever, but we've been playing this game for 10 years. A lot of people that are playing the game now were 5 years old 10 years ago when it came out, So
I think, I mean, if I had to place a bet, I would bet money on the fact that DayZ 2 will be on the newer engine. It has to be. It just simply has to be, because it's their biggest flaw and they know it. But trying to move the whole thing over just isn't going to work anymore. We've bodged this thing so many times with tape, you can't tape it back up anymore.
It'd be faster to start from scratch. It would be more fluid to start from scratch. Yeah. I mean, I think Scale Speeder's right too. Bohemia loves Arma. That's the baby.
Yeah.
But everybody forgets about Arma, man. But
I think as well, if, and I'm pretty sure they are, but if they are redeveloping it on a newer engine, they are going to be so quiet about it. And I mean ridiculously quiet about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because the moment you say we're going to be developing this on the new engine, the player count for DayZ will fall off the end of the cliff overnight.
I was gonna say that's the important part. I would keep it super secret and quiet, or else DayZ will die off. In the meantime, you saw that back when I was a server owner.
Yeah.
Every time we would say, "Hey, we're planning for the next season" or whatever it is like that, our population would just.
The W word. You never mentioned the W word.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Hey, we're considering a wipe in 3 months. Everybody just stops playing now.
Yep. Bye on server pop. See you in a week.
Then I'm just raiding empty bases all day on Struggle Bus. Unban me, by the way.
Ironically, it's why a lot of servers put fresh wipe in their title, even though they haven't wiped in ages. They haven't wiped for weeks, but they leave fresh wipe in the title. You go, oh, it's just been wiped.
Everybody loves
I might actually find nails. Yeah.
You go on and there's 4-story bases everywhere. It's not been wiped recently, has it?
So, well, we shall wait and see. I think Baby Nays did a pretty damn good video. Maybe some of the tech stuff, and I'm certain people will leave comments on there clarifying that. But, there's definitely a interest in it. Definitely an interest for it that people want to see, because, like you said, and we've said it before, this game is coming up on 10 years old this year, and the mod adds a couple of years to that as well. It's remarkable that the game is still holding up as well as it is. So we shall see what happens in the future with that. Now, I mentioned before that I had a video to show you guys, and I think you'll find this quite interesting, chat. No, I'm on the wrong video. There's
right. The point where something breaks on the stream. We've got it. There it was.
No, I wouldn't call this a break. I'd just call this boomer. Okay.
Not the same thing.
Let me know when you guys are watching. Make sure you got the...
Yep, I did.
Good to go?
Yep.
Is that a gator? Oh, yeah.
Crocodile.
It's a bloody croc. Oh, wow. Boy, I'm here myself.
Looks good.
Looks really good. Look at that.
Really
Look at the how well
Amazing.
he's got that animation going.
I need that for my map I'm working on. Except I need an alligator.
Boyder, we've got feedback from everyone.
Yeah, the chat. Well, I can see that now. I don't know why that isn't working. So yeah, something did break. Something did break.
Rolled it.
Yep. Don't know why that chat's not showing on the screen. So oh well. But yeah, man, he's amazing at what he does. I don't know how the hell he's working this all out to these custom animal animations. Just think what he could do for you with a mountain lion / cougar. For your map, mate. But he's also, and this is the bit that I really wanted to show you all. Give me 1 sec. I'll just stop streaming while I get it up. Bada boom, bada bing.
That gator would be perfect for
For what? You cut out?
That gator would be perfect for a Florida map.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on. Okefenokee.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah, dude. Such a pain in the ass.
What's this?
Oh, it's all rigged up. Oh, perfect. That looks so good, dude.
Really good.
Could you imagine being down by a creek, getting ready to swim, and that fucking comes, you see that in the water coming towards you. Oh my fucking God.
Just go outside here behind the house to the lagoon. There's like 40 of them out there.
The fishing survivors are going to get ruined, aren't they? Those who think, I'm the smart guy, I've got my fishing rod, I'll stay. Oh my God, there's a freaking...
Especially, I'm trying to do gator nest where you can get the eggs, and the eggs are like high calories, but you run the risk of getting snatched up by the mama, you know? It's very time intensive.
For those who are interested, I've just shared the video he did. It's about a 1.5 hour stream where he talks about how he's doing these animations. So for those who are into that sort of stuff, there's the link. I'll try to remember to put it in the video when we upload the edited version. But fucking God's work. You know, him and Rag are just absolutely killing it. I know there's other people out there, but at the moment, I've got such a hard on for those two. Amazing. You can eat eggs from the nest, but it's a really fucking risky thing because mama crocs are very, very protective of their babies. Oof.
And they can run very, very fast. People think alligators are like slow. They run so fast. I've got videos in my Discord of the ones in my backyard. They'll run right up on your ass before you know what's going on. I'll be out there gardening and they'll walk right up to us.
Yeah. No. So, Matty, there's options out there, mate. I hope you can work something out because, you know, having seen some videos of mountain lions when they attack, you know, their bluff charges and things like that, they're fucking savage, man. And it would be so cool to actually see them. I still dream that one day Hunter's going to redo the AI and animations for pigs so that they actually start attacking, and even the the buck deer as well. You know, that there's a chance that they can attack because. Yeah, that's what I would love to see is some reworked animations and AI of those creatures. So there's a bit more of a PvE threat in the game than just having to worry about other players.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Like by moose, I mean, moose are deadly. So if you get too close to the moose, I'd love for it to be able to attack you. I need to reach out to Hunter again. I reached out to him very early on and asked him if he would do some stuff for me, and he wasn't really interested, which I get because I was a nobody that was making a map. I'm sure loads of people reach out to him for custom commission work, but maybe I should follow up with him again and see if he would be helpful with some animals in the future.
Yeah, and horses. Make horses, bro. Come on. Let's go. Let's
honestly, I would love to. Wild horses would be great.
I will donate all the money it takes, bro. I will do a 24-hour stream and raise the money. If we could get horses, and we would have to go into paddocks and stuff and stables and find saddles to saddle them up with, you know? I mean, you just think really because you have to find all these parts for a car, right? So you just have to find a saddle and a bit and put it on the horse, and you're good to go. An apple. You know?
I will clarify for chat. Not so much the domestic pigs. Yes, I am talking about the wild boars. We just call them pigs in Australia. Bush pigs, stuff like that. But yeah, and they are fucking deadly. If they slice you, they're dirty creatures as well. So you're going to get infected if you get cut by one of their tusks, and their tusks are sharp as fuck. But yeah,
goring they call it. Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, the people who take their dogs out usually, if they're decent hunters, they have armor for their dogs because they can really fuck the dogs up. Okay, so Hunter once again blowing us away with how fucking awesome he is. He's also done an update to the bicycles as well. What was that, Scales Peter? Hunter has
Scales Peter said,
he
said he's got a work in progress going.
As long as you can ride them, that will be the fucking bomb. And it'd be great if there was a mechanic in there that you need to make a lasso and try to tame them, sort of thing. But yeah, maybe I'm overthinking it, but that would be awesome. Okay, Archie, any servers you want to shout out, mate?
Yeah, the Bitterroot playtest that's coming up. What day is it, Matty? He's gone. I think it's through the 4th of July. I think it's the 28th through the 4th of July, if I'm not mistaken. The Bitterroot playtest, and the Zero servers have been getting populated again. I know they were pretty dead there for a little while for SUS guys, but I've been playing on those quite a bit. But I'm going to be exclusively on the Bitterroot servers, and I think everybody else should be too once they do go up. I need to get a definite on that playtest when he gets back. The 28th, yeah, 28th through the 4th of July. So the 28th of this month. So in 4 days through the 4th of July, the playtest will be up for Bitterroot. He said he's going to do 2 servers. So go play it, guys, if you're on PC until Don Sibley can figure out a way to get it on console.
And there's the links to Matty's Discord in that post I just made then as well. Again, that'll be in the description of the video as well for all y'all to check out. Dave, anything going on modding-wise, mate, other than Hunter being awesome as always?
Well, yeah, Hunter has been stereotypically awesome for some time now, I have to admit that. There was something that caught my eye today whilst doing my usual browsing through the Steam Workshop, looking for new and interesting things, as you do. And it's a stamina mod. Let me...
A what mod? Stamina?
A stamina mod, yeah, but not like I've seen before. This one, as I'm going to send you the link now, before I chat on too much and forget to send it. There you go. This one weirdly adds a much more realistic version of stamina. It affects things like sleep. No, it's not just weight. Things like sleep will affect you. Things like what you've eaten, how much time you've spent in the cold, how much time you've spent in the warm. Basically, your condition of character will be completely overhauled with this. You basically get 3 stamina bars. You get your average normal stamina bar, which is the one we're all used to. It's the one that drops down, as you sprint and such. You then get another stamina bar at the bottom, which is the amount you have either slept or not slept, or how sleep depraved you actually are now. And then you have, I struggle to pronounce an aerobic.
Anaerobic?
Yeah, anaerobic. A word I really can't say properly. And basically, as you can see in the description, the load weight is no longer just taking a chunk off your stamina bar. It's affecting your speed. It's affecting your distance. It's affecting the way that it drops and the way that it restores back up as well. It's quite complicated, but it's very realistic. And I think in servers that really aim for realism or role playing, for example, this is something that would make a huge difference. No more sitting on the server for 6 to 8 hours when it's quiet, running around and doing that there's no pop thing and grabbing all the loot because your character hasn't slept, your character hasn't rested, your character's carrying too much, your character hasn't eaten well. And I know it won't be that popular to most servers, but I thought it was really interesting that somebody had actually gone to that depth to completely overhaul and rework that.
I like a challenge. I think a lot of players do too. So I don't think it's not everybody's bread and butter, like you said, but I'm interested in seeing if I can do it or not.
Yeah.
Eventually the stamina is going to get reworked in DayZ anyway, probably. So we're going to have to get used to something else ultimately anyway. So
yeah, eventually we will. I think it's a really nice touch.
I like it.
Welcome back, Matty.
I like it. This is not bad at all. I will put a link to that mod in chat for all you to check out if you're interested. Share it in your server if you've got a hardcore one that you like watching or anything like that. But yeah, no, that's actually pretty cool. I'm quite impressed with that.
Yeah, you can kind of see why it caught my attention when I was looking through it. Was this? I do like when somebody makes a very unusual or unique mod that really does change something, because although it looks like a very simple thing and a very simple change, it's not easy for a modder to do, is to completely overhaul something in a way that it's never been overhauled before. If it was easy, somebody would have done it a long time ago or done something similar. Whereas I couldn't find anything really that similar to this, and I was a little bit impressed. It also appears to be, from what I can see in the comments and such, very functional. And it does appear to be repairing any little bugs and whatnot that are coming with it at a substantially quick rate, which is Testament to a good mod.
No, that's awesome. That's really, really awesome. A very clever little rework there, breaking it up, because it's the stamina's okay in DayZ, but it kind of bugs me that from personal experience of knowing what the human body's capable of, that it doesn't allow for a little bit more in what you can and can't do with things. So I'm excited for that. That's a pretty decent mod. Okay. I wanted to shout out a couple of things as well in the content creator side of it. So we recently saw Ariana announce that she's teaming up with a bunch of other female content creators, and they're going to be making a podcast themselves. I wish them the best of luck. I'm just putting it up on the screen now. So you're going to be having Poetry Slam, Joito, Nene, and Eva Lindsay joining her for a podcast called Survival Sisters. I think it'd be great to hear a bunch of females talking about the game. So definitely keep an eye on that one, folks. But the other one I also want to shout out is our boy, Greedy Peasant. He is still doing his console-focused DayZ podcast. So I know that's something that we've kind of, we don't have Lemons on the team anymore. Just IRL stuff got in the way for him. But I know a lot of you are wanting to know more about console. And we don't really have anyone who is console focused. So if you do want to know more about it, he's your man. He's a DayZ Xbox player. He's right into the community. So he streams it on his Twitch channel. He uploads it to his YouTube channel. All the info will be in the description of the video as well, if you want to go check it out and just see what he's doing. Plus, he's an Aussie lad. So, yeah, I have to shout out my Aussie brothers and sisters. So definitely go check him out. And then, there's always the friendly lads as well. So you've got plenty of options with being able to find out as much as you want about DayZ. Guys and girls, we are pretty much done for this week. Individual shout outs. Archie, anything you want to shine the spotlight on?
I don't have an individual spotlight this week. I just wanted to once again say, go check out Matty's Discord, the MatttyIce Discord. And if you can donate it, anything you can, please do. Also, there's a member of my community. His name's Antex. He's been a member of my community for a long time. He's a British fella. A drunk driver drove into his home and completely destroyed the whole front of his house. So he's having to stay in, I guess, motels. I don't know if they have those in the UK, but basically having to stay, paying out of pocket for housing right now in the intermediate while his home is being repaired. And we're going to have a fundraiser for him next Friday, this coming Friday, on my stream. I'll try to remind everybody in the Discords and on Twitter, because unfortunately it seems like, and he's proven everything to me, it's all true. His insurance isn't really helping him out in the meantime. So, and it's hard to find housing right now, I guess. So we're going to try to help him out any way we can. So if you guys can spare anything, I'm going to set up a GoFundMe, I think, or something easier. Whatever we decide on, I'll let you guys know. But we've got to take care of our community and everybody who shares in the hobby with us. And they're in a really bad spot. He's got a family. I've got pictures of it. It's a terrible wreck because somebody was careless with their liquor intake. So that's all I've got this week.
Matty, anything you would like to shout out, mate?
Well, I already talked about him to a bit, but I would definitely say DayZ Grandpa. If you're interested in map making, seek him out, and I have a link to his Discord in my Discord. If you want to make a map, all you need is a little bit of determination and a good idea, and you can make it happen. So I'd say him. And then the other one would be Fishy. If you need commission work, you need assets, you need different things like that, some inspiration for the standard for bringing in custom buildings and custom assets, check out Fishy's work. I'd say both of them. And then I would just, again, say thank you to everybody who has supported Bitterroot financially. Wouldn't be here today without you guys. Thank you for your help and investment in the map.
Dave?
I do have one to shout out. I mentioned him a little bit earlier, suggesting that you should probably get in touch with him, Matty. I'm going to shout out Kill Switch. His kill asset mod, which is his first ever asset mod for map creation and editor, is chasing 10,000 subscribers, which is bloody impressive. And for someone who's been in the biz, so to speak, for well under 6 months, he produces extremely good, high quality static objects for DayZ. Does it all off his own back. Does it completely for free. He's a bit of a legendary guy, and yeah, you really should check his kill assets mod out and see just what's in there that you can freely use. And if you ever want an item putting into DayZ, message him. If he's got the time and can find the actual model for it, he will import it for you, and he will import it for free.
Yeah, that reminds me, Lad's lighting overhaul hit 100,000 subscriptions.
Yes,
I saw that.
yes.
That's awesome.
And all I'm hearing is good feedback on that mod as well. People love it. It's a fantastic mod, so definitely worth checking out. Yeah. Okay, so my shout out is going to be for a gentleman by the name of CreepyUA. Now, I'm not sure if Rag is in chat, but I know Rag knows him. Creepy is a 3D artist. And the reason why I'm shouting him out is I'm familiar with quite a bit of the work he's done because, sorry guys, but you've already marked this one off your bingo cards, but he does a lot of 3D modeling in the past for DayZ Down Under. I believe he's also done 3D modeling for DayZ Underground. So for anyone who's played on those two servers, you know the quality of the assets that they have when they get custom stuff made. So the guy is clearly good. Now, a good mate of mine, Spud, reached out to me a while back and said that Creepy is in a bit of trouble at the moment. And the reason why he's in a bit of trouble is, and this is not a political statement at all in any way, shape or form, but Creepy lives in Ukraine and is struggling like a lot of Ukrainian people are. Now, I know not a lot of you know Creepy, but he's a member of the DayZ community, and regardless of your beliefs on what is happening in Ukraine at the moment, it sucks that someone in our community is suffering because of what's going on there. Basically, I had quite a detailed chat with him a while back. I did want to bring this up earlier, and I am considering whether we do a fundraiser stream for him. But in the meantime, I want to share the information. I'll be posting this on Twitter as well. And if you've got a few spare bucks, please consider throwing it his way. He can barely get work at the moment when I was chatting with him because they're losing power intermittently all the time. Whenever he's tried to do commission work, most people who engage someone like him won't engage him because, what's the certainty that the project they asked for is going to get delivered? So he's basically lost any form of income, and he's not a young guy, from what I understand. He's well into his 30s or 40s, I believe, from memory. So it's not easy for him to be getting any money coming in at the moment. So if you've got a few dollars, you can sign up to his Patreon. And if you've got any questions about him, please ask him in our Discord. I'm certain Rag will be happy to spell it out. You can see what Rag's written in there. Creep teach me a lot about modeling. But he's also got a PayPal link if you would prefer to just make a donation that way. And this is his email for PayPal that I'm putting into chat as well. If you feel like you need a bit of karma your way for doing something good, I think this would be a pretty damn good person. It's someone who, in some way, shape, or form, you benefited from what they've done. He helped teach Rag Tyson. He's made some stuff for, that's just two servers that I know of, DayZ Underground and DayZ Down Under. I'm certain he's done stuff for others as well. So, Yeah, much love. Creep is a cool dude. Has helped us a lot at DDU. So please, if you've got 5, 10, 50, $100 or whatever, consider sending it Creepy's way via either signing up on his Patreon or his a PayPal link. I know that with the Patreon, a few of the tiers in there, you can actually get him to do a one-time asset for you. So if you're prepared to wait, because the man may be losing power and all the rest of it, you can actually get something made. $80 a month, one-time request for 3D model that you will own. So check with him if there's any, how long you need to be a member for before you can request that model. But yeah. His name is Oleski, 3D artist from Ukraine. Russian war is ruining my beautiful country right now, killing my people. We need your support if you're willing to choose any tier, and I'll be very grateful. So regardless of what you think, at the end of the day, he's just an innocent civilian trying to live his life, and he's caught up in what is a fucking terrible situation. So yeah, I see no issue with anyone wanting to do that, regardless of your political beliefs and all the rest of it on what's going on there. So yeah, Weirdo
Shrine. It's in a weird place. A lot of people need help.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it is, helping someone is a good thing to do. Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all part of the DayZ community, aren't we? And it doesn't matter what the political point is that's going around. Somebody is suffering and somebody's finding it extremely difficult. So.
Yep.
A lot of us are blessed with, not to preach, but I learned this when I was in the service, man. A lot of us are blessed with an abundance of more than we need. And sometimes instead of letting that excess go to waste, it feels a lot better to let that bring joy to someone else. That's kind of what I've tried to instill in my kid too. It feels really good to give when you can, and don't put yourself out. You're not obligated, of course, but
never overextend. You can go crazy with being too charitable. I watched a video just recently about people who win lotto. One of the main reasons why so many of them go broke is because they feel bad about the fact that they've got all this money, so they just start giving it out to everyone left, right, and centre. And then when they've got nothing left, all those cunts have fucked off and left them, and they're left with nothing, and they're broke, they go bankrupt or something like that. So you've got to always look after yourself first, folks. But if you've got a few bucks spare, whether it's to Creepy Art or whether it's to someone else or some other cause, there's plenty of nice things you can do out there. I donate monthly to a charity called Wounded Heroes here in Australia. I just like what they do. It's, 8 for a mate, they call it. So look at different things. I'm also going to quickly shout out another great way that you can support charities is via Humble Bundle. And we have a partner link with them. So I did see this one here, Unreal Essentials. If you're into game development and all the rest of it, they've got a pretty cool mod at the moment where you can buy 35 bundles of assets, village houses, medieval tents, ambulance premium and stuff like that. And part of when you make that purchase gets donated to charity as well, and you can quite often pick the charity that you want to choose to money to go to. So this is our partner link. We'll make a couple of bucks out of it as well. It's a great way to support us, the community, so we can do more in the way of being patrons and things like that, and also for our awesome Christmas show. And
you can import Unreal assets into DayZ, just so you guys know.
I did not know that. I'm glad I brought it up then.
Possible. Yeah, it is possible.
I did not know that. That's awesome.
But they don't always look right, but it is possible.
No, yeah.
Well, the lighting in DayZ is so fucking hard to get right.
Horror and Decay Volume 3, Horror and Decay Volume 1. Jesus, those two sound fucking perfect right up DayZ's alley. Punch basic animations and all sorts of animated blood decals. Maybe if some of that stuff's going to work in DayZ.
I'm actually going to check that out when we get off the stream.
Make sure you use our link. Make sure you use our link.
Yeah.
Link in description.
Glad to have a sponsor. Good to have a sponsor, man. I survive. Where you at?
But yeah,
Goldfish. I want DayZ. Come on,
guys. This was a pretty damn good episode, Matty. I'm so impressed with what you've done, mate. I was chatting with the missus earlier this week, mate, and I've said this time and time on the show again. I'm so grateful that I get to live in a world where, I'm a very unremarkable person. The only thing I can do is talk and upset people. Pretty much that's my super skill is being a fucking ornery prick who manages to offend everyone. But I feel so blessed by the fact that I'm surrounded by people with your sort of get up and go and determination. And you decided, I want to make a map, and you found the drive to just get up and learn it and do it and do a map that, when I hear someone who's not an American praise it like Archie and Facility were in chat, Americans will fucking hoorah about anything that's got an American flag in it.
Come on, dude. Come on. Not all of us.
Fuck off. Oh, say,
I like that you have that perception,
Yeah.
You can slap Made in USA on anything and they'll go great about it.
Yeah. But, mate, huge shout out, huge respect, brother. That's fucking amazing what you're doing. I'm really impressed.
And staying motivated, bro. Everybody gives up after the first couple weeks, man. They get hyper fixated and then move on to the next thing, dude. You've been at it since October.
I do wonder how many abandoned maps there are out there that, people...
Tons. I've had so many people... But people hit me up as like, can you bridge the gap to, can you get DOJ to look at my, I'm like, no, bro, what are you talking about? And then they just abandon it. It's happened so much, man. But it's hard, I've looked at that same video he's talking about with DayZ Grandpa and QGIS, it'll bug and delete my whole project all the time. And it's just such a pain in the ass. There's so many obstacles.
Yeah, no, Terrain Builder is complicated and unstable, and
Crashes
Bulldozer is even more unstable. I have, like I said, I created a map, and then I had to delete the map and start all the way from scratch. I've had to recover like at least a month's worth of work on the Bitterroot you see today because it's all crashed and corrupted files. It's a pain in the ass, but I appreciate you guys saying that. It's validating to hear you say that and know that I'm on the right track. So I really appreciate that. And I just say, you guys, like I really enjoy this podcast. I do a lot of traveling for work, and so I always tune in whenever I'm on the plane to listen to what you guys have to say. And the people that you bring on, you always bring on really talented people, as you're saying. So opportunities to learn what's happening in the DayZ community and get to grow and meet new people that are all taking. I love this game. It's a great game, but it is so broken, and the community goes to great lengths to attempt to fix it and keep it alive. And what you do here to bring those people to the broader public, I think, is really important. So thanks for having me on. Thanks for doing this podcast. And
absolutely,
it's been a real pleasure to be with you guys today.
It's great to have you. Great to have the platform too.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing your community over as well, mate. We're that's what we're, regardless of what some people think of us, that's what we're all about, is just, focusing the light on this amazing fucking community that is DayZ. And I feel constantly blessed to have so many amazing people around here. Just a quick update as well. The Mike Jones 420 spotlight interview is still going ahead. It's just been delayed. He's had some work stuff. I've had some stuff going on as well, but it is still going to go ahead. Please don't hit me, Foxy. I know you said I've got to do 2 spotlights a month. I am working on it.
Are you in a Snuggie, by the way?
No. Okay, so I did see a comment earlier. Someone said, "What is Boydie wearing? Is it some sort of priest?"
I forgot it's winter over there, right? Because it's summer here. Yeah,
the onesie, isn't it?
This is the most awesome fucking piece of clothing I've ever owned. I am so fucking.
You
in
look
love
like
with
a
this.
fucking Jedi. Dude. You look like a cold Jedi, bro.
No, Archie, I am your father.
It's called an Oodie, OODIE. They're fleece lined and they've got these awesome little pockets. It goes black so you can't see it whenever I stand
he
up.
He is a Jedi, dude.
Yeah.
I
just used the Force, so I disappeared. But
Oodie.
That
sounds like a rapper from over here.
So it's essentially half hoodie and half onesie.
There's no pants or anything. It's just basically like an oversized hoodie, but it's fleece lined,
like a poncho,
big pockets, and they're just Yes, I do need some Ugg boots to match. I'm wearing tracksuit pants, and it's the best. The missus, we got her one, and was in love with it, and she said we've got to get more. And then I've got another one. I bought on a 2-for-1 deal. The other one I have has little quackers all over it, but I'm keeping that one in the cupboard. I just love my plain black hoodie. They're the fucking bomb. Does it have a butt flap? Doesn't need it. You can just lift it up. It is absolutely cozy as fuck, man. I'll post a link in the podcast Discord for anyone who's interested. I'm pretty sure they ship international. So it is just so fucking warm. It's like literally it gets too hot. I'll sit outside and I've got it. No, it's too fucking hot. I've never... Yeah, maybe you guys who live in cold climates have that sort of shit, but entry-level furry.
What season is it over there right now?
It's winter. It's June. Beginning of winter.
Yeah.
Almost into the first month of winter. But yeah, when we're talking winter, the temperature right now is, let me check for you guys, 6 degrees Celsius.
So weird to think about having Christmas in the middle of summer.
Almost cold then.
No, man, I can't think of Christmas in fucking winter. Like, summer, we have barbecues and go to the beach for Christmas and shit like that, man. It's the fucking best.
Yeah, in Florida,
we do that here. We do that here in Tampa, Florida too.
Yeah, it's the same
Florida,
here. Where I grew up in Tennessee, man, Christmas is like snow and icicles and all that. Snowmen, it's a culture shock, I guess.
Yeah, so I married a girl from Minnesota, and so I brought her down here to Florida, and we went and cut down a Christmas tree, which I never did my entire life. I always had fake trees, but we went for the first time and cut down a real pine tree. And I was out there wearing shorts, t-shirt, and flip-flops, and she was sobbing because she's like, "This isn't Christmas."
You brought a Midwest girl to the armpit of the United States.
Oh yeah, yep. I was like, I fucking love this. This is great. So
Wow. Pretty much anywhere in the southern hemisphere, K-Bear, it's winter now. So Australia, most of Africa, South America. That's pretty much it.
It's not the winter,
Antarctica. No polar bears there, so you're safe. Just got to watch out for those little fucking leopard seals, man. They're crazy. Awesome show, guys and girls. Thank you all so much once again. Links will be in the description to everything we talked about. Next week's guest that we have lined up is the one, the only Rick Slatee. So I'm looking forward to that one. No, I'm not even going to say that. You're not getting that bingo card. I'm not saying it. No.
He pushed for it.
Yeah.
When I was in Samoa,
if anyone can,
you give him it.
No, it has to come from me. It has to come from me. If anyone can find me an online app, I did have a look, but sadly, there's nothing that works with YouTube. But I would love to create a podcast bingo game for you guys and girls. We can, and it won't just be focused around Boydisms. It'll, sadly, Dave doesn't have a webcam on, so we can't put anything about white lightning or drug deals going down in the background on. But we can have Archie's moonshine jug and stuff like that. And
I hate you.
Guilty. I'm on the Gatorade today.
Yeah. Nah.
Hey,
Matty,
man, thanks again, Matty.
Keep it up, man. That's it's looking really fucking sweet, man. And hopefully you can get some nice assets to just give it more of that Murica feel.
For sure. Thank you, guys. June 28th to July 4th is the next public playtest. You'll see Bitterroot out. You'll see 1 or 2 servers up, the official Bitterroot playtest server, and it'll have MatttyIce in the listing as well. Those are the correct servers to join and get the full experience of Bitterroot.
You need to put in the theme park from Zombieland in there as well, mate.
I'll do that. Big roller coaster park.
And Twinkies. Got to have some Twinkies.
Gotta go Twinkies.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Oh, I'm an ideas man, mate. That's my other superpower. I have lots of ideas and then I forget them. But yeah. Now, awesome. Thank you all so much, everyone. We will see you all next week. Same time, same place as always for the #1 DayZ podcast for all your gaming information. Number 1, baby. Hail hydration. Say bye-bye.
See you, everybody.
I'm waving again with the camera off.